Hi, my name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr. I was born July 4th, 1986. I want to say thank you for tuning in. Today I want to talk about these dogs in a way of being able to just say something that I like researching a lot. Not just dog stuff, but human psychology stuff. Because I'm always trying to figure out how to be able to, like, say my own self, get into a better place. These dogs are coming along for the ride. I'm going to say, the main show on this planet that, unfortunately, most of us aren't paying any attention to. And that main show is being force-fed to be like pushed under the rug because we've got everything else that we need to take care of. And the main show is making sure that you are a peaceful, happy, healthy, relaxed, caring, compassionate human being. And something that I realized about this escaping and avoiding, mainly the avoidance aspect of it, constantly just running away in a way of not even running away, but purposely putting yourself in a situation to make sure that you won't be in the way. Avoiding. Escaping, yeah, we're running out, we're just trying to get the heck out of every scenario, everything, but avoiding, you're putting a plan together to say, I don't want to do this, so I'm not even going to put myself in a position to be even in there, be anywhere near it. So I'm going to, in reality, straight up, purposely sabotage myself from things that I know that I kind of want, but I'm going to sabotage myself because I'm scared and I have fear of, I don't know what's going to happen. And the main show on this planet in reality is, someone may not agree with me, but I'm a Bible believer at the end of the day, is us as humans. We're kind of the main show. We're the ones that are kind of like dictating and mandating and doing what we're doing with everything on this planet. And there's like two ways you could look at that, is be a dictator, or you could be a person that's going to be more compassionate in a way of trying to understand each other and not just rule over. And that's something that, in my opinion, of how I view the said creator of this world. It's not a dictator, a lot of people like to state. It's more of a compassionate wanting to get to know me as much as I want to get to know it. And it wants me to know them, or it, as much as it wants to know who I am. There's something that I'm going to say is weird, that a lot of people think that, God has got all the answers, everything figured out. He's got all the answers and everything figured out. Why are we here? Something that I'd really want someone to think about. If everything's already figured out, why are we here? If everything, just from start to finish, what are we doing? It's something that I would want someone to really think about, that we're here for a purpose to be able to make. And the main show, I guess, is for us to be able to figure out, I guess, in reality, what that purpose is based on what we do in our lives. And the biggest thing that I believe most people are doing today is avoiding going into the unknown, avoiding going somewhere because you're unsure, and avoiding to try to, like so-called, I say, keep yourself safe. Keep yourself safe in a way of getting yourself away from what could potentially hurt you. And unfortunately, the main thing that we all kind of, for the most part, start with this is our parents and our grandparents. And our grandparents and great-grandparents and great-great-great-great, everyone to the point of today where we are. Our parents are trying to, like, say, do what's best, they think. But in most cases, they're forcing us to avoid. Because when we say we want to do something, I don't care what it is. In most cases, as young kids, we always say we want to do just amazing things. Like, I want to paint, I want to dance, I want to draw, I want to do something. And for the most part, our parents are going to say, no, don't do that. Because they're scared of that may fail. So they want to put us in a box of, this right here is what you want to do because it's safe. You're going to be able to survive. You're going to be able to eat. You're going to be able to get a house. You're going to be able to make money. You're going to be able to safely do it. It's going to be reliable. It's going to be predictable. And do this. Do this. So you're avoiding, it's like forcing us in avoidance of avoid what is unsafe because this is safe. And then we're living on these lands of listening to other people that are telling us what is safe and unsafe based on their life experience and life experience of someone before, and not really looking at the life experience of those that, say, succeeded. We're looking at the life experience of people that failed. And that's an automatic upfront in my mind of, like, something weird is going on already. I'm looking at the people that failed. I want to see people that have failed and failed and failed and succeeded. That success story, I want to hear what you were doing when you were failing to get to that point of now we're a success. Most people don't do that. We hear about someone failed in a business. I'm not going to do that. We hear someone failed at doing any and everything. I'm not going to get into that because we want to go into, say, the safe route. The safe route of, Kahi? Yeah, go over there. The safe route of doing, sorry, it's the chewing, of doing doing something that is going to be able to be a said guarantee. But there's something interesting about that so-called guarantee that in reality, most people today, we have no choice but to just kind of, the word I'll use here is wake up to the reality that we can't keep avoiding. We have to go ahead first because our society today is setting us up to see that reality, that nothing is actually truly safe that we think it's safe. Nothing is actually a guarantee the way we thought that it was going to be a guarantee. You can't just work hard enough and work long enough and be able to be good to go anymore. You can't just go to a company and think that you're going to be working there for 40 years. Most companies today, the ones that have been around for 100 years, 40 years, 50 years, most people notice they're all going out of business right now. And new ones are coming. And the new ones that come around, you're lucky to make it 5 years. So you can have a job every 5 years. There's nothing that's guaranteed anymore. So what we were told to avoid was being in a risky place to go to the safe place. We're now starting to get into a situation that there's no longer a safe area. Now we can't just keep avoiding. Now we have no choice but to go head first into what it is that we're afraid of. What it is that someone, in reality, most cases, unfortunately, forced us to be afraid of. And that's something that is weird with these dogs because I see this from so much. That's why it's fascinating to take one from another person to another person to another person. Because we are putting fears upon stuff around us that others aren't putting on. So that fear that we're putting on is going to change depending on who you're around. And that's the biggest thing of a lot of us, unfortunately, right now. You need to remove from who you're talking to, remove who you're asking advice from, remove and get away from certain people because they're keeping you in this avoidance stance of be scared, be nervous, be worried. Go over here and do this. But again, this go over here, do this today is starting to disappear. As it's, in my opinion, it's never been there. We never had these guarantees. We never had this time that everything was just so great, so amazing, so cheap, so awesome, so available. It's never been that way. Just today, it's being seen easier, the manipulation behind what's going on, whereas before it was more hidden. And it was hidden because, why? It's easy. It's easy to hide things before we had these cell phones and everything to be able to get instant information all the time. It was easy to hide it because it took forever to figure out information. How long, 100 years ago, did it take to learn about what was going on in Japan right now? You would get a news article and you would read that based on what a few people had to say, not what a few people had to say, not like a majority of being able to pick and choose someone who is, say, more like-minded as you. So information today is fast, and I believe that's why we see this falseness of what we think is safe or what's told to us is safe is actually not safe. And in most cases, the avoidance is not keeping you safe. It's actually keeping you away from doing what it is that you need to do. The avoidance is keeping you away from finding actually that true, the word I want to use here is happiness. You're running into things that someone else told you would make you happy and you realize it didn't. So now you have to figure out a whole new game plan. Because for a lot of people, I'm always fascinated when I hear the folks on the YouTube, especially on this YouTube, talk about the whole minimalist style of living. And it didn't make sense to me when I was younger. So in my early 20s, it's not like I was on that same mission. I need more and more and more. I need like 8 cars. I need like all of them be high performance. All of them got to be built up, have every bolt on, every motor built, everything right with it, the best tires. I had to have this house. I had all the tools. I had to have all the clothes. I had to have everything. I had to have just everything. But I realized that it didn't give me anything in the end, in reality. It gave me absolutely nothing. It left a bigger hole in me of more and more lack. So when I hear these people talk about this minimalistic stuff, it's like someone would say that's not the safe route to go. You need to run away from that. That's what you need to run away from because that's not going to bring you anywhere. You need to go to where safe. You need to have all this. You need to have the security. You need to do all this. And a minimalist person is going to say no. You don't need pretty much like 95 or more % of the things that you think that you need. You need to actually just stay the heck away from most of that stuff because that is what actually isn't safe. What is safe is to, straight up, the safest thing to do on this planet is to have nothing at all and to live with what you just need and not have anything extra. Because when you have just what you need, if anything were to happen, you can move. That's why it's a devastating thing for a lot of people, especially with all this like crazy stuff going on in the world. The fires and the floods and the sinkholes and the hurricanes and all this stuff going on. Everyone is so in this mindset of this home, this is everything. This is everything. And I need this. And I absolutely have to have this. That's why when something like that comes and it takes everything away, some people are just, they're done for the rest of their lives. They never recoup. They just give up, and it's not that they go minimalist or in the sense of letting go of their possessions. No, they hold on to the possessions and they never let it go, as if like a death in the family, like a death to them. That I lost all my stuff and I'm nobody anymore. And that's the part that I believe is what has been force fed to us as that safe route. But the actual safe route is to not care about it. It's to let it go. It's to know that I don't need all this extraness. I just need what I need. And when you have what you need, if something were to happen, something came swooped up and took it all away, you would say, I could pack, I could go, I could be gone with this suitcase and I can make what I need to happen again down there. Because everything about me isn't tied up in this. Everything is tied up in me, in my actions and what I'm capable of being able to do, not in my stuff. And that's something that I believe a lot of us are being misled with, and why we're forced into this avoidance stance, because we're trying to avoid the real thing that can actually like do stuff on this planet is us. Not the stuff that we have, the stuff that we acquired, even the knowledge and the information that we have, but just us, what we have. Knowing that I can get up and move and go and do at a moment's notice to be able to make anything happen. And a lot of us are avoiding that because we're going what society states is safe. Buy more. But we're all starting to see, again, today, it's interesting times today, because it's not any, it may be different in the sense of, I think the only thing that's different today is the information. It's how fast we get it, that we can hear stories about other people that before we were just never able to hear. We only heard people in our neighborhood, only in our little block, only in our little city. We didn't get to hear just the massness of everything. And that's the only that I believe difference is. And now that we're able to hear and see, we're starting to actually realize that the safe isn't safe. The safe is actually the worst case scenario. The safe thing to do is to just not care about these things in the world, not care about all of these possessions, not care about anything in reality. Knowing that you have everything in you to do what you need to do. And everything extra is actually slowing you down. And let go of all the extra so you have just only what you need. Because when you lose it, it doesn't matter. You're like, okay, well, I'll go over there instead. I'll make it happen down the block. I'll make it happen in the next country even. I'll make it happen wherever I go. And I have what I need to be able to make it happen. But the thing is, we're force-fed away from that. Because in reality, the only thing that I can say is something wants us to be controlled. And the more stuff that you have, the more controlled you are. The less stuff you have, the harder it is to control that person, because that person could just get up and go. I could just decide, you know what, I'm going to pack up a couple of clothes and I'm going to pitch a tent and just live out here. It's hard to control a person. Sorry, we got a super wind going on right now and I'm hooked up to a tree and this branch is not the sturdiest, and it is what it is. We'll see how it looks, but usually this camera's pretty good at fluctuating, but this thing is like whipping all over the place right now. But it's really hard to control a person that could just pitch a tent, come out here, pitch a tent and just live. It's so hard to control that person because they could just freely be able to keep moving and going and being. They're not dependent upon this perfect oasis of this city, of this everything to be able to live. That they could detach from that and be able to go and do. It's so hard to control that person. And that's where, for me, why I believe that for whatever reason, the powers that be of this lands of this world wants us all to stay in this avoidance stance. Avoid doing something like that because it's going to destroy the whoever is to be able to control us, to be able to keep us in this, say, box. It's hard to do that. When you break out and you're able to just freely just let things go and just know that your things are just nothing anyways, and you're able to just move forward, it's really hard. It's really hard to keep that person in lockdown, and where in reality we're just headed to in our future, unfortunately. And I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why something on this planet wants to just control us humans as if we're just some lab rat dogs or rats, or not even dogs, or like rats. And they just want to keep us in this little box to have 1,000 of us in a little section and give us just enough food to have to fight for each other over all the time. And I don't know why this is what's going on, but it just is. And it's easier and easier to see that with, I guess I could say, the more that we're able to freely be able to talk to each other. It's so easy to see what's actually going on. But a lot of people don't want to see it. You want to keep avoiding because you're scared to actually see the reality. You want to stay in that fakeness. You want to keep having these people like say control and give you just enough and barely enough. You want to stay in that because of all I can say is the propaganda and just the way that you feel. You think that you're stuck in that false sense of safety, that false sense of everything is good to go. But I'm telling you, it's not good to go when you're relying upon anything in reality other than just your own self. When you're relying upon my possessions to make me look away, be away, to be able to do stuff on this planet, you're going to realize at some point in life, you're not going to be fulfilled. You're going to be fulfilled in stuff, not fulfilled in who you are. And that's the part that I believe is the most powerful thing that all of us should be, my personal opinion and belief, that all of us should be learning how to be able to fulfill ourselves, not our pockets, not our bank accounts, not our possessions, not our stuff, not our things, but ourselves. And that's something that, again, is interesting, because when it comes to these animals, something that the horse trainer really taught me a lot on the concept of people, because a lot of folks that have horses nowadays, that they're say a more wealthier class of people, and that are living on these lands. And it's just weird how we have like a complete shift of society like that, where literally like 200-300 years ago, a horse was like, everyone had horses, but nowadays it's like the rich folks have horses, and it's changed. And there's something that he said to me, and he would constantly keep saying, I don't know why, but I get it today. He would almost on a daily basis put it in the sense of always having something to say on that concept of, these people got all this money, but I don't care. You can't put money at getting this to be good. You can't put money at building a better relationship. You can't put money and just think that I could spend enough and all of a sudden this is going to be good to go. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way with the simple animal, and it doesn't work that way with us as well. This is why a lot of people struggle with the dogs. You think, I got enough money, I can go spend $15,000 and send the dog here and the dog's going to be good with me. It doesn't work that way. You may get some, say, superficial results, but to the core of inside of what's going on, something's going to be lacking, something's going to be missing. And you're going to be wanting it, so you're going to think that I could go spend more, buy more, do more, and then you're still going to realize in the end, I'm still not getting what I want. Because the biggest thing is it's what we do. It's not about what we can buy. It's about who we are. And who we are is what most people, I believe, are running away from right now. Because you want to go into what is supposed to be safe. But what is safe is learning about who you are and learning about what it is that you should be doing, not what somebody else tells you that you should be doing. It's something that I've just realized, just thinking about this, because I do a lot of research and what do you call it? I guess learning and research on avoidant personalities and avoidant relationships and all of that. And then it puts me down into just the avoidance-ness of it all. And then when we talk about dogs, I think about dogs doing avoiding and escaping, that we're purposely training the dogs to go into avoidance. That really gets me thinking about us as humans, that something that's not a concept for dogs, it's a concept for us as humans. They're purposely trying to get us to avoid. They're purposely trying to say, don't look over there, but look over there. Don't do experience that. Go over here and do this. We're purposely doing that. So I know that we're purposely doing that to ourselves as humans. And if we're doing that, that's the part where I can see with the dogs where it really starts to go downhill. It really does. They can avoid it for so long, but after a while, this buildup happens that they just have this like explosion that they got to do something. They just can't always constantly for the remainder of their life just keep avoiding. And we're getting them to avoid to do what? Stay safe. Stay safe. Don't do that. Don't go into that. Don't go over there, to stay safe. But are we actually bringing safety to them, or are we making them worse? Something that I just been really paying attention to, that as much as, like, especially a parent to a child right now, don't ever say to your child, no, don't do that, do this over here because this is safe. It's not going to work. You're forcing the child to avoid who they are. And if they do keep doing that, then they're going to grow up to a point of, who am I? What am I supposed to do? What am I about? And it's going to be an absolute disaster in the end, because then you're not going to have any idea. I hear this from people with the dogs even. Like when I say, find that thing that your dog likes to do, like, I don't know what my dog likes to do. You don't know what your dog likes to do, because in reality, the dog has been avoided for so long that it doesn't even know itself anymore. Does a dog like to chase? Does it like to swim? What does it like to do? Does it like to play fetch? You got to keep trying all these different things to figure out what your dog likes, because we've been escaping and avoiding it for so long. We've been forcing it to not do this and not do this and not do this. And the dog's like, oh, I guess I'm just a hamster now. I don't know what I am. I see dogs playing and running and going, but that's not me, because I can't do that. They've been telling me I can't do that. I mean, that's a huge thing that we do. Make the dogs avoid interacting and playing and being with other dogs. So when the dogs see that, because that's how all my dogs in reality, except the Dalmatian, because she's the one that's that's getting me out of it, and starting to see this dog here, my shepherd, that they would always just watch from the sidelines. Like I see dogs playing, but they're just standing there like, I don't know what that is. And they don't know what that is because I forced them to avoid it. I forced them to say, no, we can't do that, because that's just dog training 101. Your dog is a little crazy. Don't let them meet other dogs. Don't put them around dogs. Don't let them interact with other dogs, which is strange to me still. It's strange to me at this point today, like crazy. But when I was hearing that information, it sounded so good. But the more and more that I would make them go into avoidance, the more that if anything were to happen, that they were having to have a chance to be who they are, such as I just want to interact and play and run, it turned into something strange. Strange is a nice word to put it. Hostile is a real thing that I want to state. It makes things be hostile because they don't know what to do. And they don't know what to do. They don't know how to function. They don't know how to be. So then the others have to like try to show them. And then what happens when the others have to show them, one starts to feel lack then. This is something that I'm trying to study and pay attention to more with dogs, in the sense of them being told by something else. And if they feel this sense of lack because they don't know what the others know. So do they get into this sense of like trying to be tough, to be like, don't call me stupid, basically. I'm not dumb. I just don't know. And I believe personally that the dogs do go through that same thing that we as humans do. When you go to the group, and the group, so say the group is playing chess and you don't know how to play chess, and they're trying to teach you how to play chess. And if your ego is such a way, you're going to start to get hostile with those people that are trying to teach you how to play, because they're going to be talking to you in a way that you don't know, you're dumb. And if your ego is wrong and you think that you're dumb and they're talking to you like you're dumb, you're going to start to be aggressive towards those people that are literally just trying to help you. But because you don't know and you don't have the information, you're acting in a very inappropriate way. And then you never really learn the game, because all you're doing is coming into it in a hostile, aggressive sense, because you don't want to take advice from someone else thinking that they know more than what you know. And I see this with humans all the time, but this is something with the dogs that I'm wondering, do they do that same madness? And it all starts from, in reality, just us being told, force-fed in reality, of constantly keep avoiding what you want to do and who you are and what you're all about. And not allowing you to be able to grow into being who you are. And that comes down to everything in reality. You start avoiding what you want to do for work, you're going to start avoiding who you want to be in relationships with. You're going to start avoiding who you want to have friendships with. You're going to start avoiding everything in your life to stay in this safe location that someone told you is safe. But again, nothing is safe. And the more that you just keep avoiding doing what you want, the more you're only driving yourself into absolute insanity. And that insanity is what I see gets lashed out like crazy with these dogs, that they get to this point that they just have an explosion. And that's when I see things get, and most people see it when it gets dangerous. And you're like, oh, got to give up on it and got to move away from it. But in reality, it's more than likely something that we're doing is suppressing who they are and not allowing them to be able to be who they are, because we're the ones that are trying to keep them safe. It's safe here. It's safe here. Just do this. It's safe here. But what's safe in that moment is setting up for disaster in the end. Thank you. Ophi, come here. You can bring it. I don't care. Come here. This is such a cool spot over here. Come here, girl. I like, this is the main thing that I can say I help with this dog, because she's upset. Come here, girl. Come here. She's obsessed with this food, anything that she's eating. But I want her to know, because right now she's trying to avoid me because she thinks that I'm going to take it from her. But I'm trying to show her, like, no, I don't care. Ophi, come here, girl. Come here. No, you can get it. Okay. You got to go take a little swim for a second. Okay, you can go get it. She can't sniff stuff out nearly as good as him. But she starts to get hesitant because she's like, you're gonna take it from me, aren't you? You're not gonna let me have it. Well, there's times that I'm gonna say, yes, I am gonna take it. But when I take it, I just tell her to out and she knows we're done. But then there's other times that I want her to know, like, I'm not against you here. We're working together. And that's something that's been a huge thing with her with food. This is something that with her that was a challenge at first, when obviously she's like, I'm eating this. And this is the part where I know it don't just frustrate me, but I know it probably frustrates a lot of other people as well, And when you tell them to drop something, so for instance, they're eating something in the house, so they take something from you and they're eating it, and you tell them to drop it out, loose, whatever word you use, and they speed up. They just like ramp up and go faster. I'm just like, what the heck? That to me is a lack of understanding that the dog thinks that I'm going to take it. And even though if I do want to take it, I should. This is a thing that I will say that might be difference between dog and child, but still there's some of it that's going to be a little similar. If I want it because of whatever reason, it could be, in most cases, it's just a safety thing. And how do I say this? It's mine thing. You're not eating my food. It's mine type situation. So if I got my chicken, my steaks, my whatever on the counter, my dog thinks it's going to eat. No, that's mine. That's my food. And I'm going to, I'll use straight up words to make it easy. I'm going to fight and defend for my food. That's mine. And the same thing I see how the dogs do. So if she got her bone here and he comes up and he's like thinking I'm going to come take it, she's going to look at him and say, no, this is mine. This is the thing that I can say is much different that I notice with dogs than humans. They don't share. They just don't share, or at least mine don't. And stuff that I see in group settings with dogs, they just don't really share. They're all going to get it. And whoever has it, has it. And they don't just like, oh, I found a bone, let's split it in half. No, they chew on it until they're done, and then the next dog comes up and gets it. Chews on it until it's done, then the next dog comes up and gets it. They don't do that sharing thing. So since I pretty much kind of know that with these dogs, I don't share with them to the same way. That's mine. I said it's mine. So when I say it's mine, I put that boundary in to say it's mine. It's no longer yours. I'm taking it at this moment. And then there's times that I just say it's yours. You could just have it. But I noticed that when I'm very, I don't know what word to use here other than firm with saying when it's mine and when it's not mine, they don't go to that rampage of trying to chew it faster because they're in this thing of competition. It's no longer a competition. It's just, no, we're not doing this. I don't know how to explain that. I'm trying to figure out how to explain it differently because this dog has taught me a lot about this food stuff because she's intense with food. So he's intense with sniffing out stuff and she's intense with eating stuff. So he'll sniff out and find these bones. I don't care. If there's a bone out here, he will find it. He'll find it no matter where it's at. I mean, yesterday he found a whole deer carcass. It was weird. It was complete. All the ribs, the head, the feet, the arm, everything. It was complete. It was so weird just laying there, and he could find anything. But then what happens is he'll take it, and then of course if it doesn't break off into two pieces, it's all his. And then she's standing there looking like, well, when am I gonna get my turn? So then I'll just break it in half and I'll give them both a piece. And when I break it in half and I give them both a piece, that started to get into her brain right away of like, hey, this guy really isn't out to like just, it's like I'm trying to teach her to share. And teach may not be the word, but I'm trying to get her to learn that sharing is caring. I guess the way I could say it. And it gets her to stop being so possessive, and it also gets her to stop wanting to like, say, steal my stuff, because I'm gonna share with you. Because every meal that I cook this goes a little bit against my non-treats thing, but I don't do treats for obedience. I do treats because sharing is caring. And I don't use treats, I use my food. Well, my food is their food, which is still very strange. But every time I'm cooking, I always have like excess stuff, and I give that to them. So if they go lay on the couch, lay in the room, just get off of me while I'm cooking, they'll get something. But if they don't, they're sitting there hounding me. I'm looking at them like, this is all mine. This is it. This is mine. And they're starting to understand that whole sharing concept. And I'm starting to actually see it between like these two dogs, because he used to show teeth at her when he would get the bones. He doesn't do that anymore. He'll let her, like literally just earlier, because the thing they got right now it was big. They could chew through this stuff pretty darn fast. It's pretty incredible. But they're literally holding both on one end, just running side by side with each other, and it's just a fascinating thing to see the progressions of allowing them to do. I mean, dogs need to chew. I don't know why it's like, and chew bones, not these like, I guess that's what they're called, nylobones, like plastic things and just weird. That's why your dog chews it for 2 days and then you never see it again. And they literally like hide it to make sure that they can make a statement of, hey, I need something new, because they can't just keep chewing on that fake stuff. They need something real to chew on. And when you give that to them, it really does let that sensation go of that possessiveness, in my opinion, because I've seen this with all my dogs. This is why I don't have like fights anymore. I used to have like tiffs at the house with feeding time, because it was like, I mean, I guess at the same time of what I am feeding, it may be a little more complex because it's more of a fresh raw food, and every dog that's mine. So I could have like 5 chickens and 5 dogs, and the first one I give to the dog, all those other 4 dogs are putting extreme pressure, like that's mine. But it's like, no, you're all going to individually get your own. Just wait. And that pressure that they put on is just disappeared, because now they're realizing, oh, we're all going to get some. It's okay. And it's all coming from me that's delegating and say we're all going to get some. We no longer need to fight over it. Because I used to have issues. Oh my goodness. Even something that I just did today that I usually always do. And I've noticed today things are just chill. That I always get random eggs. I find a random egg in my coops when I go feed the chicks. They're not really laying eggs right now, and I'm not putting pressure on them too. Well, but I always get like 1 or 2 a day that are just hanging out, and I'll take it and I'll give it to a dog. And I'll have all the dogs, because when I get in the hand, they're all like, hey, I'm about to get an egg. But I'll have dogs, because it's mainly these 4 that are, other 2 at the house, that they hound me. I got 2 eggs, or like today, I got 1 egg, and I got 4 dogs looking at me. And I gotta, in my mind, I'm thinking who I'm gonna give it to, but I already made up the mind before I grabbed the egg who I'm gonna give it to. And they're all looking at me like, hey, I want that. And I just will hand it to one. And at this moment today, I could just give it to a dog, and they're all like, oh, okay, well, move on. But before, the one couldn't eat it. Like, it would like hold it in his mouth and like run around and run around and run around so it can get far away to get a place where it's like isolated, that the other dogs aren't following it. And then it would eat it. And that's that part of me trying to get into the dog's brain that we can share. You don't have to just keep like fighting and defending for it. And I believe that that's the opposite of what I've done, because I've like created out of my Pyrenees, for instance. He's the one that's complicated, because I taught him at a young age to fight over his food, because everything would steal his food. The goats, the cows, the chickens were like, he used to be scared of the chickens. The chickens would take his food, so he wasn't eating. And then it was just too much to like isolate the dog to make him eat, because he still wouldn't eat, because he was just nervous that something was going to come up and take his food. So I forced that dog to like, nobody gets in your food bowl and no one gets food next to you. When you got your food, you fight for it. And he no longer does that today. It's weird that I taught the dog to do that, and now I'm teaching him not to do that, to share, that I can like get that out of him. And now he has no cares. I don't care what dog is around when he's eating. He doesn't look at him hostile anymore. I don't care if the chickens are around. He doesn't look at him hostile anymore. And he's just like, oh, hey, how's it going? But now what he does is he eats his food right away, where he used to just let it sit there for a little bit in a sense of like, what's up, what's going on? Now he finally just eats it. But it's like something I'm showing that we can share. It's okay. And that's something that is like a huge thing that's missing with us as humans right now for some reason. We just don't share anymore. We don't like, I got a little extra of this, let me help you out. Oh, you got that? Let me help me out. And we just work with each other back and forth. Now it's like, what are you gonna do for it? What are you gonna give me for it? As opposed to just, let's just share.